So I'm in Tampa. This is the CountBaseD.com vlog. This is 2025 number 4. I'm in Tampa here. My brother and I have a tradition of going to the baseball games. His favorite team is the Tampa Bay Rays. Mine is the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's our announcer, Hannah Mears, there, and that's her live on the air. We started this back in 2023 where if the when Major League Baseball made it to where all teams play each other at least once a year, we just decided that whenever they played in Pittsburgh, we'd meet in Pittsburgh and watch the game there. And when they played in Tampa, I'd come down, visit the family, and see them there. So this year they played in Tampa, so I came down there and saw the games with my brother. But man, my team is struggling, but I want to really explain about how I became a baseball fan because I haven't always been a baseball fan. Big things happened to me in 2020 when the pandemic happened. This gentleman, Thomas Harrington, uh, made his major league debut that night, and it's a big deal. It's kind of like when I got my first major deal. I feel like that's how it's like when those guys finally come up. And down there in the bottom right hand corner, that's the owner of the Rays, Stu Sternberg, and he was he was handling all the heckling and stuff going on pretty well. Uh, Wore the same outfit 2 nights in a row too as a billionaire. It was a learning. It was real a lot of game in that. Didn't care. That guy was beating us up pretty bad. But I became a baseball fan during the pandemic. They made it free and nothing else. Baseball came back first. Everything else was dead in the water. But baseball came back first, and so I just hopped in, and it was something to look forward to. And then each day they would talk about the history and things like that about the team. And so I just started getting into it. I noticed how I was looking forward to it coming back every day. And then it started to make sense to me, like how it's such a parallel for life as far as just that's Andrew McCutchen. He's our hopefully future Hall of Famer, and he used to play for the Pirates a few years ago. We traded him, and then we got him back. So hopefully he'll finish his career here. But I started watching baseball, and I just got into it. We lost this game, and that's been all year. It's been pretty bad, but it also taught me because my team isn't the best team in baseball, not even close. And so, it's real humbling to have to see how you show up every day and do your job even though you're not getting the best results. And throughout my career, I had to be the same way. I wasn't going platinum or anything like that, but, I was trying to be the best version of myself I could possibly be. Oh, this guy's shirt here, Banana Records. A lot of people tell me to go visit there, but they don't know that that's where a lot of my record collection came from when I first started back in the early '90s. I went there and they had a huge sale, and I cleaned up. And then there was another place in Clearwater that was what bird is that? If anybody knows, leave it in the comments. It was like right around my brother's house. I see some strange birds. Oh, so this is the finale, the rubber match. And so I'm going to the last game, and I'll just tell you more about just how I feel like baseball is it's just kind of like a parallel to life, especially just being creative. You just got to show up, man, and try to be the best version of yourself as you possibly can. As far as releasing music, you want as many at bats as possible. And, even the greatest hitter of all time, Ted Williams, only, well, statistically, we all have our opinions, but he only got a hit 4 times out of 10. So, and that's the greatest in the history of baseball. So most of the time, you have to be dealing with the fact that you're not going to be successful, and you have to just show up and never get too high, never get too low. It just never ends. The parallels between baseball and life, that's Paul Skeens right there. And he's the bright spot of our team. The only thing we really have, well, I shouldn't say that. We got McCutcheon and all of the players. I appreciate each one of them individually for what they bring to the table because it's a team situation. But Paul Skeens is is a really special talent, and I saw him. You might have seen me when I went to his debut in Double A, and I've been following him all the way to now. But it's you as you're playing baseball. Baseball just parallels music because it's the same thing. You just got to get up every day and just keep doing this. A long season, 162 games, and you can't just ever celebrate your wins too much, and you can't ever just get down on yourself too much, even when you're in a slump. So that's one of the main things about it, why I just enjoy it so much. But it also bonds my brother and I. We kind of touch base about each other's teams. We kind of follow them now, and so I'm a baseball head. Even though I don't post about it a lot, I try not to. I try not to beat you guys up with a lot of baseball, but it's a big part of my life and keeps me sane. Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna follow. This is the other part is baseball is something that I can't control, right? And so there's a lot of things out there I could be following right now that I still don't control. But the thing about baseball is I learned something and it helps me with my life as opposed to arguing with people about certain other things that I can't control, and it feels unhealthy for my mind. So I'd rather follow sports because I don't control it, and as long as I find something positive that it helps me in my life, I feel like it's productive. So that's why I follow baseball and follow it so close. It's kind of helps me in my mind. So it's the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's a huge legacy, and I'm just real grateful for what it's done for me and my mind over the years. It's definitely helped me get through the pandemic, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so loyal to them. Because I started watching them right when the George Floyd uh, uh, protests and things started happening. And that's right when I got into baseball, was right during that time. And it just kind of gave me a whole respite from the uprising that were going on, the pandemic that was going on, and eventually after the villain passed, you know, after that season was over, then the villain passed, and then I stopped drinking, and so it's just been that kind of situation since. I just you know it's it's just one of the things that I do. It is my pastime, so I follow baseball. I think we ended up winning this game. We got one out of the uh, three games, and so and I don't talk a lot crazy or anything like that too. Please, if you're gonna contact me about baseball or whatever, I'm never gonna say anything negative about your team. I'm never gonna try to beat my chest about my team either, no matter how well we're doing or whatever. It's not about that for me, even about wins and losses. You see everybody support Paul Skeens. It's not about wins and losses and things like that per se. It's just more about uh, showing up every day and everything. But I watch all the after stuff. It's interesting, man, because now I think that bumper sticker said I bought this car before Elon went crazy, and you really have to watch it now because you beforehand having a Tesla was people used to really push it all in your face, and now some people are embarrassed about having them, and then it's like the same is opposite for other things out here. It's like you know, it's like you can't eat Ben and Jerry's, or some people stop eating Ben and Jerry's. It's just wild, man. Um, you be paying with your palm, man. I mean, isn't that kind of crazy? Anyway, I left Tampa and I'm on my way back home and to do what I do. And but I did have one more baseball game to go to, the Double A game, and that's kind of closer to where I live. The minor league team for the Pittsburgh Pirates is a little bit closer to me, so it's easier for me to attend those games and a lot less expensive than it is to go all the way to Pittsburgh and see those games. So I don't really go as often to Pittsburgh, but I try to go to the Altoona games now and then. But it was a great flight. I'm always grateful when they land safe, and that's all I'm really concerned with. Stayed at some random hotel, felt like I was on the road again. That the little hotel situation, and uh, I don't know, man. I'm probably gonna get back on the road again soon. And tip the housekeepers when you can, man. I mean, those people don't, they don't always do those folks right. So leave them a little cash and whatnot. I had to realize that a few years ago that that's something that you're supposed to do now. Uh, this is a nice little spot. I forget where I was. I think I was in Lancaster, maybe. And that's one of those new Volkswagen buses. I hadn't seen one in the flesh. But I got some couple things out of there. There I am at the Starbucks. And then look at the birds and the bees, man. I was saying, what were they fighting? What's going on? But I think two guys are competing for the attention of another duck. This is Milheim, man. Milheim, we known for our ducks. And so, yeah, it's going down, man. I was like, wow, nature is really taking its course today. And I'm being nosy. But I was on my way out I think I was on my way to Altoona. So I was, headed that way. I was like, dang, man, what's really going on? So we get there. I'm coming, man, because Jared Jones, one of our other pitchers who's doing really well on the come up, to go along with Paul Skeens as one of our young pitchers, but he's on the mend right now, man. He was on he got injured, so but they gave out bobbleheads. I just started getting bobbleheads and whatnot too. They gave out bobbleheads that day because even though he plays for the Pirates now, he once last year he was playing. He came through the system, so they gave out bobbleheads, and I came to get mine, Jack. And then there's a young prospect right there, Termar Johnson, who's coming up on our team, and he, is one of the only. It's rare. It's rare, more. It's less common to see Black American born baseball players, and I think that's one of the reasons why the sport isn't as popular and dynamic as the NFL and the NBA. When I was growing up, it seemed that there were a lot more. I've played baseball in my backyard and stuff, and there were a lot more Black American baseball players, and so baseball seemed like it had a wider audience. And I think that baseball is missing that audience, and that's the reason why it's just not as popular as it used to be. But players like Termar Johnson are coming up, and of course Mookie Betts and stuff like that. And I just think uh, all the different cultures at some point will begin to support the game again, and it'll be that kind of thing. So the Wooten Brothers were playing in State College, which is not very far from where I live. So I came there to see them. I've worked with Victor Wooten and his brother Roy, and so I hadn't seen them in, maybe 20 years, or approaching 20 years. So I came to this concert to see them, and then so that's Roy Wooten there. He's also in the Baylor Fleck and the Flecktones.
Oh my goodness, man! I never saw you guys.
There's Victor Wooten. So it was love. It was real happy to see them. That's Amish parking in a town close to mine. Sometimes that's what they leave behind. So now I'm going out here and doing what I do. And remember that? I went back and got it, y'all. It was still there, $3, a great copy. Record store day was towards the end of the month. This is the store that I went to get the food, but it wasn't there. But today, record store day, it was there, so I got it. And y'all, I thank y'all so much for streaming the single Caddy with me and Euro Droog. A lot of stuff has happened with that, and I'm working out some administrative details. But thank you all for supporting it, and I appreciate it. Spotify, anywhere, Bandcamp, Apple Music, all the places. So, yeah, there's some of the Amish young women walking around town. Uh, I was cleaning my sheets, so I had to go to the laundromat. And outside of that, there was a lot of walking going on this month. And actually, here's a rare sneak peek inside of my workshop. And so I'll see you all next month.